Welcome to Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. This is your go-to source for practical advice and support for when the divorce process has finished. Join us each weekday for a quick chat where we'll cover a variety of topics related to post-divorce. Together, we'll explore the emotional, financial, and legal aspects of life after divorce and help you find the best path forward for you and your family. Here's your host and Certified Divorce Financial Analyst professional, Mike Fulkerson.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. So today's topic tackles some pretty powerful emotions once the divorce is final, and that is anger and resentment. And first, I always like to say it's okay to not be okay. Divorce is a loss, and it's normal to feel angry and resentful. These emotions are a part of the healing process. Suppressing them can actually hinder your ability to move forward. So let's take a look at some ways to acknowledge and process these feelings. Anger and resentment really often stem from hurt, betrayal, or a sense of injustice. We want to reflect on what's fueling these emotions, understanding the source, if you will. Was it broken promises, unmet expectations? Acknowledge the source and validate your feelings. Now, there are healthy ways to express your anger. Bottling it up is not usually the way to go. It can be very detrimental. Now, if we want to have some healthy ways to reduce our anger, then we can look at things like exercise. Physical activity is a great way to release pent-up emotions. Journaling, writing down your feelings really can be helpful. Creative expression, explore art, music, or any creative outlet to channel your anger. You could talk it out, confide in a trusted friend, therapist, or support group. And then limit contact. For now, reduce contact with your ex-partner if it still triggers negativity. Now, ultimately, we really want to let go of the resentment so that we as individuals can move on. And, resentment really is anger that festers, and holding on to it does kind of hurt you. If we're going to let go, let's start with, forgive, not for them, but for you. All right. Forgiving doesn't condone anyone's actions, but it does allow you to release the negativity and move on. You're going to want to focus on what you can control. You can't change the past, but you can control your present and your future. And then shift your perspective. Reframe the situation. Look for lessons learned and opportunities for growth from there. Remember, healing takes time. There's no magic wand for erasing anger or resentment. You want to be patient with yourself. These emotions may linger, but with time and effort, their intensity will decrease, generally speaking. You could also look at seeking professional help. If the anger and resentment are overwhelming or preventing you from moving on, consider seeking some help. A therapist really can provide guidance and support to navigate these complex emotions. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. Should you have any questions on today's topic, drop them in the comments or shoot me an email, give me a call. My information's all over here. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. And with that, take care.
Welcome to Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. This is your go-to source for practical advice and support for when the divorce process has finished. Join us each weekday for a quick chat where we'll cover a variety of topics related to post-divorce. Together, we'll explore the emotional, financial, and legal aspects of life after divorce and help you find the best path forward for you and your family. Here's your host and Certified Divorce Financial Analyst professional, Mike Fulkerson.
Hi, and welcome back to another edition of Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today's topic is really one that ignites curiosity and, at times, apprehension. And that's going to be dating after divorce. So divorce doesn't mean, the end of love. I mean, personally, it comes down to whether or not you would like to get back into a relationship. But, you know, while divorce marks the end of a chapter, it's not the entire book. If you're ready to explore the possibility of loving again, then here are some things you might want to consider. And first off is taking some time for yourself. Healing is pretty important. Don't rush into dating before you're actually emotionally ready. You're going to want to reflect on your needs and desires. Ask yourself what you want in a partner. What did you learn from your previous relationship? And then be kind to yourself. Divorce can leave emotional scars. Embrace self compassion and prioritize your well being. Now, the dating landscape might have changed since you've been married. Gone are the days of flipping through the classifieds. Online dating apps and services offer a vast pool of potential partners. Now, if we're going to navigate the online dating world, we might want to have some thoughts on that. And so you got to choose platforms that align with your values and interests. You're going to have to craft a profile that accurately reflects who you are so you can attract the right individual. Be upfront about your status as a divorced person. Don't take online interactions too seriously at first. And then always meet in a public place for initial dates and prioritize your safety. So you've landed a date. While the first date after divorce can be pretty nerve-wracking, there's some things that you might be able to do to help bring down some of that anxiety and tension. And that is, just be yourself. Relax. Let your personality shine through. And then you want to focus on getting to know the other person like they should be trying to get to know you. You're going to want to be honest about your experiences, but avoid dwelling on negativity and enjoy the process. First dates are for exploration, not necessarily finding the one. Now, dating after divorce comes with a set of unique situations. Now, here's some things that we do have to keep in mind on the more serious side, and that is one, your children if you have them. So if you have kids, you got to discuss how and when to introduce potential partners. Also, ex-partners, you want to be respectful of boundaries and prioritize your children's well-being over any potential drama. And then blended families. So approaching relationships with children from previous relationships requires communication and understanding. Now, really, dating after divorce is a journey of discovery. It can be a fantastic experience. It's a chance to connect with someone who appreciates you for who you are. And, they're going to include, they're going to accept the past experiences you've had and everything that comes with you. I want to thank you for joining me today on this episode of Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. Got any questions? Drop them in the comments or reach out to me if it's a little more personal. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Take care. Hi, and welcome back to Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we are going to break down a pretty big topic, and that is finances after the divorce is final. So budgeting and managing money independently can really feel daunting, but fear not. We're going to take a look at things and go through some steps to make it a little easier for you. Now, the financial landscape, really has shifted after your divorce, and that means there's a new financial reality, and one income might replace two, and expenses might need adjusting, and we got some things here we need to consider. And first, we're going to start with reviewing the income and expenses. Create a detailed budget listing your income sources, say salary, child support, etc., and all your expenses for housing, utilities, groceries, and anything else you can think of. You're going to want to prioritize needs versus wants, distinguish between essential expenses like rent or food or healthcare and discretionary spending like entertainment and dining out. You're going to want to review those existing debts. So consolidate or restructure debt if necessary. develop a plan to pay them down strategically. If you haven't already, negotiate any outstanding financial issues like spousal maintenance or division of assets. We don't want to have that stuff dragging out. And let's try to do it amicably if possible. But if we need to, get a lawyer and work with a divorce attorney. Now, building a new financial safety net is pretty much tops on the list. Emergencies happen, so start building that emergency fund to cover unexpected expenses right away. And you want to aim for 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. And then we want to have some smart spending habits. Because really, what do we want to do? We want to stretch our budget a bit further. And you can do this by tracking your spending. So monitor your expenses to identify areas where you can cut back. You want to embrace frugal fun. Find free or low-cost ways to entertain yourself and your family. Explore public libraries. They offer books, movies, and even educational programs, all for free. Utilize budgeting apps. Many budgeting apps can help you track spending and stay on target. And there's no shame in seeking help. There are resources out there. And a couple of resources that come to mind is free or low-cost credit counseling. So nonprofit organizations can offer guidance on managing debt and budgeting. And then there's also financial advisors, and they can help develop long-term financial plan tailored to your goals, in addition to all the budgeting that you have going on as well. And just think of it this way. You got this. Financial independence after divorce takes time and effort. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your small wins, and focus on building a secure financial future. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of A New You After Divorce. Should you have questions on today's topic, just put them in the comment or drop me a line. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Take care. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking Ties, A New You After Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today's topic, well, it's pretty critical for divorced parents, and that is navigating child custody and visitation arrangements after the final decree. So we want to start with understanding custody and visitation. Divorce doesn't erase your parental responsibility. Custody and visitation define the physical living arrangements and parenting time for your children. Now, there's two main types of custody. One is sole custody, where one parent has primary physical responsibility for the children, while the other has visitation rights. And then you have joint custody. Parenting responsibilities really are shared with various arrangements possible, like equal parenting time or variations based on schedules and needs. Now, when we look at visitation, it isn't just about the scheduled hours. It's about nurturing a healthy relationship with the non-custodial parent. We got some tips here. And first is focus on quality time. Create meaningful activities that the child enjoys. You're going to want to maintain consistency as well. Stick to the agreed upon visitation schedule whenever possible. Children prefer routine. But understand that you got to be flexible because unexpected events happen. Communicate openly and reschedule if needed. And then you got to respect the other parent's time. Be on time for pickup and drop off. They may have something else planned or scheduled. Now, you can't badmouth the other parent as well. I mean, this creates confusion and negativity for the children, and it may backfire on you. Moving on doesn't mean moving out. Even after divorce, communication with your ex-partner is essential for successful co-parenting. Now, let's look at a few areas here where you might be able to improve, and that is having, develop a communication plan. So you got to determine how you'll communicate about important decisions regarding the children, whether it's an email, phone calls, parenting app, something, you're going to need it. You're going to want to focus on the children's needs. I mean, as the court does, you should as well, which is put the children's well-being above your differences. You got to respect boundaries. Don't overstep your role in the other parent's time with the children. And then consider mediation. So if communication is strained, you can use mediation services to navigate disagreements constructively. Remember, it's a journey, not a destination. And adjusting to a new co-parenting dynamic takes time and effort. And that's for both, ex-spouses and the children. And so I want to share with you a few additional tips for your new normal. And it's going to start with, being patient. You really want to build a healthy post-divorce routine, and that's going to take a little time. Seek support, therapy support groups or talking to trusted friends can really help you cope with the emotional roller coaster. You're going to hear me say this one a lot, and that is focus on self-care. Take care of your physical and mental health so you can be the best parent you can be. And lastly here, let's embrace the new you. Divorce can be an opportunity for personal growth and rediscovering yourself. And that's all we have for today's episode. I want to thank you for joining me on this Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment or reach out through my contact information. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. And with that, have a great day. Hello and welcome back to Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we're going to talk about that pivotal moment when the ink dries on the final decree. It's a time of mixed emotions, relief, and some uncertainty. So let's explore the top 5 things to consider as you embark on this new chapter of your life. First, number 1, take a deep breath. Well, and maybe a vacation. Divorce is a marathon, not a sprint. Allow yourself time to process the emotional roller coaster. Take break, from the stress, recharge your batteries, and prioritize self-care. Consider a solo trip, a weekend getaway, or simply some quiet time for reflection. Number 2, update your important documents. Now, this might not be the most exciting task, but I'll tell you what, it's pretty critical. Updating beneficiaries on life insurance policies, retirement accounts, and wills. Ensure your mailing address and emergency contacts are accurate for all the documents. Number 3, review your finances and establish a budget. Your financial landscape has likely changed. We're going to want to create a detailed budget outlining your income and all your expenses. This is going to help you understand your new financial reality and make informed decisions on moving forward. Number 4, reimagine your living situation. Will you stay in the marital home? Downsize to a smaller place. Consider your long-term plans and financial situation. If you're co-owning the house with your ex, establish clear communication regarding maintenance, upkeep, and potential future sale. And number 5, rebuild your support system. Divorce can, leave you feeling isolated. Lean on your friends, family, and support groups. Reconnect with old friends. Explore new hobbies that allow you to meet new people. And don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Now, I'm going to toss in a bonus tip here, and that is embrace the opportunity for growth. Divorce can be an opportunity for personal rediscovery. Explore interests you might have neglected during your marriage. Take a class, learn a new skill, or volunteer for a cause you care about. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself for this exciting new chapter. And just remember, you're not alone. Many people navigate the post-divorce landscape. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. Should you have any questions on today's topic, feel free to put it in the comments or reach out to me. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Have a good day.